before we get into tonight's story, let me remind y'all what's been happening. Two sisters, Nina and Simone, identical twins who ended up living completely different lives. Simone works nights as a DJ at a busy nightclub while raising her son Marky. Nina lives quiet, private, and nobody really understands what she does. Then one night outside that club, a fight broke out in the parking lot, shots were fired, and Simone watched the father of her child, Jalen Price, fall to the ground. At first, it looked like a tragic accident, but Nina discovered something disturbing in the security footage. The shooter wasn't aiming at Jalen. He was aiming at Simone. And the deeper Nina started digging, one name kept appearing. Trayvon Walnapkin, a shipping company owner and the husband of Nina's longtime friend Michelle. But that name eventually led Nina to someone far more powerful, a man quietly building influence across the entire city, Bruce Henderson. Now, with that being said, let's continue the story. The moment Nina started getting too close, someone broke into her condo and left a message on her laptop. Stop digging. Nina stood in front of her laptop, staring at the words glowing on the screen. Stop digging. Someone had been inside her condo, close enough to sit at her desk, close enough to know exactly what she had been looking at. But Nina didn't panic. She slowly closed the laptop and looked around the room. Everything else looked normal. The couch, the lamp, the blinds. But the silence felt heavier now because whoever had done this wanted her to know one thing. She had crossed a line across town. Simone slept on the couch with Marky curled up beside her. The television flickered quietly in the background. Her apartment looked peaceful, too peaceful, because she had no idea danger was getting closer. In a different part of town, Nina stood in her living room and whispered quietly to herself, "So now you want me to know you're here?" And just like that, this investigation became personal. The nightclub was packed that night, music blasting, lights flashing, people dancing like nothing in the world could go wrong. Simone stood in the DJ booth doing what she always did, controlling the room with music. But when her shift ended and she walked outside, she noticed something strange. A black sedan parked across the street, engine running, windows dark. She didn't think much of it at first, but the next night it was there again. And the night after that, when she pulled out of the parking lot, the sedan pulled out too. Simone drove 3 blocks, still behind her. 4 blocks, still there. She turned down a random street. The car followed, her hands tightened around the steering wheel. Finally, she pulled into a gas station. The sedan kept driving, didn't stop, didn't slow down, just disappeared. Ooh, child. Pardon my voice. Gigi Moma needed a sip. Now, back to what I was saying, but Simone knew something now. Someone had been watching her. Across town, Bruce sat quietly in his office, watching the city through a wall of glass windows. Shipping routes covered the table in front of him. Company records, investment proposals, and a folder with one name written on it. Nina Johnson. Teddy leaned back in a chair across from him. "So what we gonna do about her?" Bruce closed the folder calmly. "Nothing yet." Teddy frowned. "You gonna just let her keep moving?" Bruce looked out at the city lights. "Then I want to know what she thinks she found." Teddy shook his head. "You gonna just let her keep moving?" Bruce smiled slightly. Sometimes the smartest move is letting someone walk deeper into the game. Meanwhile, Michelle's boutique smelled like perfume and fresh fabric. Beautiful dresses lined the walls. Soft music played in the background. But the moment Nina mentioned Trayvon's name, Michelle froze. "You all right?" Nina asked gently. Michelle forced a small smile. "Yeah, why?" "You don't sound all right." Michelle stayed quiet for a moment. Then she sighed. "He's been different lately. Leaving late, coming home later. And when I ask questions," she shook her head, "he tells me I don't need to know." Nina leaned forward slightly. "What kind of questions?" Michelle lowered her voice. "One night I heard him on the phone. He said a name." Nina's eyes sharpened. "Bruce." Across another part of the city, Simone walked across the dark parking lot toward her car, keys already in her hand. Suddenly, someone grabbed her arm and slammed her against the car. Before she could react, a voice whispered in her ear,
"Tell your sister to stop stop asking questions.
Simone froze. My sister. They knew. The men released her and disappeared into the darkness. Simone sat in her car shaking. She didn't call the police. She called Nina. They know about you. Later that night, Nina watched from the shadows across the street. Warehouse 14 was busier than it should have been. Men unloading crates quickly. Too quickly. Then one truck door opened. Inside were people, terrified, exhausted, being moved like cargo. Then a black car pulled into the lot. A man stepped out, suit sharp, movement calm. Everyone around him shifted. It was Bruce. For a moment, he paused and looked toward the darkness, almost like he sensed someone watching. Back in her condo earlier that evening, Nina pressed her hand against a hidden wall panel. Click, the wall opened. Inside were locked cases, weapons, equipment, tools from a life she had tried to leave behind. She stared at them for a long moment because opening that wall meant something. It meant the past was coming back. Later at Simone's apartment, Simone slammed her hands on the kitchen table. I'm done being scared. Nina stood across from her calmly. This isn't about fear. Simone's voice cracked. Jalen is gone. Men are grabbing me in parking lots and everybody keeps telling me to stay quiet. She looked Nina in the eyes. I want to know who did this. And if I get the chance, I want them to know they picked the wrong person. Across town in Bruce's office, Bruce studied a shipping route displayed on the table. It was fake, a trap. Information leaked deliberately. If someone was watching his operation, they would follow it. Let's see who shows up. Later that night at the warehouse, Nina stepped out of the shadows. Bruce looked at her calmly. You're very brave, Nina. Nina didn't flinch. Or maybe I just don't like being watched. Bruce smiled slightly. Now that you've seen enough to matter, you're officially part of the game. Nina held his gaze. Then you picked the wrong player. The war had officially begun. Now before you go, tell me something in the comments. Who do you think is more dangerous right now? Bruce or Nina? Don't forget to like the video, comment, and subscribe for more Chronicles. Because baby, the streets always got another story.